Hey!
There he is.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Welcome.
How's it going?
It is going well, with the exception that, and I'm not sure if the tech team has told you this, I can't see any of you.
He did.
I have literally no video feed.
My current thought is that maybe it's because you're on this hotel connection and they're blocking like the protocol that we use to send the video, the WebRTC traffic. So that's my current guess based on everything we've tried to get you in here. But there's not a lot we can do about that. So yeah, you could maybe bring up the Twitch feed on a second screen if you'd like to see a delayed version of us to see what you look like.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, actually.
We're all smiling. We're all really happy you're here.
There's all of us here.
Yeah.
We're hanging out on stage.
It's not. There's not much to look at, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just our faces.
Yeah. Everybody stop using all the insulting gestures. Steve is going to start watching.
No, my secrets.
That is, I will say, an incredible view behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've got quite the background.
Or did you just install the fairies in the background there?
No, that's right downtown overlooking the Port of Vancouver.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm staying at the... Oh, sorry about that. It is. I'm in the Pan Pacific Hotel right now, and behind me is the port and the mountains, which you'd be able to see on a day that wasn't incredibly rainy, as it is today and has been for some time here in Vancouver.
I think since the beginning of time, actually, it's been pretty rainy in Vancouver.
Rainy, and Steve's not in town. So.
Which is also rainy.
There's a Steve face like
flying in, and thus the weather's going to turn crappy for the next 5 to 6 days, and then Steve is flying back, and nothing but sun.
Didn't surprise me in the least.
We can't let him know how good it is here. The move. How's it going?
Well, how's everyone? How are you guys doing? It's been a while.
We're doing good. I was going to say for folks who may not know, who is Steve Dengler? And you have an hour to fill, so you've got go wild with the who is Steve Dengler if you'd like.
Oh wow, okay. It'll take me about 60 seconds probably. Well, I mean, with regards to the Desert Bus, I did some number crunching this year, and I realized this is my 10th year appearing on Desert Bus.
Oh, God.
And it was a very, very different animal, I know, right? It was a very, very different animal 10 years ago. The bees, for example, I fondly remember the bees. All sorts of little in-jokes that happen on a regular basis. And I remember that the team seemed pretty pumped about, hitting its milestones back then. And if a piece of paper came through a time machine into the room back then and said, yeah, we're going to be putting a few extra zeros on the end of those numbers in a few years. It would have been mind-blowing. It's just amazing to see how far it's come, how much good it's doing, and how many people it's connecting with all around the world. It's pretty cool. But that's more about Desert Bus than I guess me. Capsule version. I started a company called XE with a friend about in 1993. So there you go. If you want to feel old, which grew to become the world's favorite foreign exchange website and app. I retired from that in 2016, and I think I'm primarily a parent now, although I do little things here and there. One of the things, for example, I've done is in 2017, my father and I did the first Canadian helicopter circumnavigation of the globe, which was pretty wild. And, we were talking earlier about stories and, stories and little bits of tales to, yarns to spin during my appearance here. And boy, that's been good for a few of them. Oh yeah, and that book that is sitting on the shelves behind the team, absolutely, is the photo book of the journey that we published. What else? I've done a lot of kind of new media stuff, which has been kind of fun. Like I've done some producing for things, and even if you come on as a heavy duty enough producer, they'll throw you a role in some of these things. For example, there was a fan production called Star Trek Continues, which ran for a number of years, And I mean, it's a web series, right? It's not a TV show. But we had some pretty heavy duty people in that, like original people. Like in our very first episode, we did a continuation of Who Mourns for Adonis called Pilgrim of Eternity, and the original actor that played the role back in the original Star Trek returned to reprise it, Michael Forrest, and he is, he's a phenomenal actor. Anyway, so a lot of people, have been doing things like that, like little web series and new media things, just to entertain, I guess, myself, but also to work with cool people around. My sister and I ran a web comic for many years called Megacynics. That was kind of fun. Just little things here and there, but I've transitioned, I think, mainly to a full-time parent, which it's funny, like a lot of contacts from the business world that I used to move around and go, oh, so you're just a parent, and I'll pull things, oh yeah, just parent, just a parent. So I enjoy rubbing some, proud parenting achievements in their face. For example, my son and I spent about a month and a half to make a full Nomai cosplay for Halloween for him, like a full 3D, constructed out of layers of foam mask and a giant costume. It took us a month and a half, and we threw it up on Reddit because it came fourth, I think, in his school costume contest, and we found a little bit insulting. I think mainly because nobody knew, maybe the people hadn't played Outer Wilds and didn't know what Nomai was, their loss. And so we put it on Reddit, and like the developers of the game were writing and going, "Oh, this is so cool! This is the best cosplay!" Right? So I'm like, "Yeah, parenting, right? There's my, there it is, right there. There's that imaginary medal on the wall of my."
I think that's a higher recognition than the high school. When the devs show up, you're like, "Heck yeah!"
Right.
Yeah, go back to the high school.
So cool.
Be like, "Hey, this costume is acknowledged by developers."
Excuse me. I would like a recount of and I would like these thousands of Reddit upvotes added to my total, please.
Do you have any idea what my Reddit karma is right now? High school?
Maybe let's not get Reddit involved with high school contests. I feel like no contest would ever be like legit ever again.
Yes. No, and you know what? So my son and I worked on that costume for a month and a half. He did the vast majority of the work, and it looked phenomenal. In fact, I mean, you could go to Reddit and type in like Nomai cosplay Halloween or something. You'll see it. I mean, I'm sure one of you guys could pull it up. It looked phenomenal. I think you guys know Bill Duran of Punished Props. I think he's sort of a friend of the show, as I recall. Mm-hmm. We got the guide for the Nomai mask, like the how-to, on his website, Punished Props, and it came out. It really came out well. Like, it really is phenomenal. I don't know if you can pull it up. If somebody with access to Reddit can pull up it's in the Outer Wilds subreddit, and it's you'll see it right away. You'll see my name in it.
Might be able to have it show up in chat, but I think we're having some issues with the overlay right now. So our ability to pull up images or do a lot of things with the overlay, there's a technical limitation. So that
I bet someone in the chat will post it really quickly.
Yeah. More luck on
there
that.
There it is. Just immediately proving Surge wrong.
That's fine. Honestly, hey, I am happy to be wrong on that. That's fantastic.
It looks so good.
It's very good.
Yeah. Well, and the game, The Outer Wilds, is absolutely phenomenal. As a parent, I really try to focus on curating video games for my kids. Non-violent, cerebral, entertaining. Something with an emotional connection. And Outer Wilds just an absolutely phenomenal game. By the way, that might be a little bit. Go ahead.
I was going to say I've gushed about it on Desert Bus the last few years. It's an incredible game. Yeah.
Well, and when the DLC came out, it was kind of like, it's such a beautiful, self-contained little universe. Like, if you open it up to jam something else in there, are you gonna break it? And they really didn't. That DLC is unreal. Like,
I was worried about it as well. Yeah, I'm about halfway through, and then Desert Bus happened, so I've got to go back immediately after Desert Bus and finish it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to spoil anything. It's a little spooky. You know what I mean? Like a little bit on the spooky side. I don't know if
a few spooky elements. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Not in a bad way. Just like we played it around Halloween, so it was the perfect kind of Halloween game, spooky game. I also think in a video game, like I've produced, produced or financed, depending on how you look at it. It's kind of a matter of terminology. I've helped with financing a number of video games over the years. Some small, like little indie games, and some like I financed, for example, the Mac port of Psychonauts. Defense Grid 2 was, I think I did like 97% of the financing for Defense Grid 2 or something like that. And that's been fun. But, you know, I've found over the years, the sweet spot for me is like little indie games where people are doing fun little things. So I'm going to put a plug in for something that I have no financial connection to other than just I really like the game. And I helped it out a little bit. And they've offered to put in a desert bus themed character into the game. So the game is called Whisker Squadron by Flipfly. And you might recognize the name because they did a really cool game called Race the Sun, which was a lot of fun. So think of Whisker Squadron as like Star Fox, but cats, kind of with an FTL kind of
cool
thing. Oh, by the way, if you played FTL, you've probably killed me about 7
I was going to say,
times.
I wanted when you're talking about video games, because Steve Dengler is one of the crew members you can have in FTL, beloved and extremely punishing roguelike space game, right? Yeah.
So I'm Steve.
I have had Steve Dengler die several times in that game.
I've killed you so many times.
So I often show up as Steve Dengler, sometimes Steve Dengler, or Drakeagen, my sort of game handle. So any of those is probably me that you've thrown out on your lock, or you know what I mean, sent in to fight some mantises and in the engine room when it's on fire.
It was an accident.
They're like, Steve Dengler is the best red shirt in FTL was just claimed by the chat.
Well, and going back to Star Trek Continues, I played the chief of security in that. And in the final double header episode, they killed me off, spoiling Star Trek Continues. So I had this, because I was executive producer and assisted with the financing of the project, I had this sort of plot armor and executive producer armor through the series. And then, you know, in the last episode, they're like, okay, we're going to have to make it good, make it count. So I was actually killed off by Nicola Bryant, who was one of the Doctor's companions in Doctor Who's past, who played a cameo in it. And she's a phenomenal actor. And so it was an honor to be killed off by her. But just to pop back to Whisker Squadron, by the way, it's an indie game and it could use your love. If you go to Steam and put it on your wish list, it's a major win for a little indie studio that's just trying to bring cool games to the masses. But they are offering to put a desert bus themed character in the game as one of the pilots. So, you know, there's like, you'll be flying through space. If you go to the Steam page, you'll see it's like a Star Fox kind of 3D forward running game, but really cool. Anyway, but there'll be little insets of the pilots talking like, boy, that was a cool move kind of thing. And they want to add a desert bus themed character. So they were literally suggesting a bus, like a bus. Like an animated bus flying a spaceship.
So the bus is flying the spaceship. But who's driving the bus?
Well, right. Right. How deep does it go? Right. Like this is Inception levels of video game. Like, is there a cat in the bus in the spaceship? You know what I mean? So that's option one. Option two is we just do another cat. Because they're all cats. The main character came up with a cool name for the cat, DB.
Oh yeah.
Either like D.B. or DEE.
I like DEE. I love DEE. That's great.
So you like use the desert bus colors, right? You know what I mean? Sure. The orange, maybe with a shock of blue.
What about
air,
a little air freshener?
Like the little air freshener.
Like a dotted yellow stripe down their back.
Like it. You really only see them. There's sort of this like it's kind of like 3/4 profile close up on the webcam kind of thing. So maybe, but since the entire frame is animated, the other thing I was thinking was you could have the splat every so often on the cockpit.
Awesome. Oh, I like that. That's so good.
So if you are feeling generous, you should go and put this on your Steam wish list. But I was wondering, like, maybe we could do a little poll or even just get a sense from the chat which is the better route to take, like adding a literal bus or adding like a cat that fits in with the rest of the cat team but is kind of got a desert bus themed colors or something like that. So
I think the name is solid. I think you nailed it on the name, the DB.
DB, right.
I do like the DEEBEA, like James was saying.
I agree as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if it was just like if it was a literal bus, people might be very confused when it shows up. Yeah, I mean, maybe that will encourage them to go check out what it means.
So actually, I should elaborate a little bit. It's going to be an unlockable character. You have to type in the word desert bus into the secret unlockable character area. Nice. So it won't be like they won't just be playing a game about cats and suddenly a bus will be talking on the screen. You have to unlock the character. So there's a little bit of latitude maybe in that, but my own feeling is that a cat would make more sense, a cat in the cat universe. But let the
an incredibly informal poll of chat, just watching it as soon as you offer those options, is overwhelmingly cat. Yeah. Or like a cat-shaped bus a la Totoro, but mostly cat.
I mean, y'all want to try to make some money then?
Sure. Yeah.
We could do like a 501, 502 thing.
Yeah.
For the next like 15 or 20 minutes while Steve hangs out. And see what we get at the end here. So how about we say 501 for the cat and $5.02 for the bus. And we can take a look in our backend system to see which one gets the most money. And we can go from there. So
we can also just use the poll feature.
Yeah.
501 and 502. Yeah. How long do we run this for?
I would say let's do it for half an hour up until like 10:02. And then we can figure out who wins.
Absolutely. So we have $5.01 and $5.02. $5.01 is for cat, you said?
Yeah.
Cat. 502 is bus. I don't think this will automatically load in the lower third, so someone else is going to have to do that one. But it's live.
Cool.
All right.
So yeah, get some donations.
Suggestion. What about $5.03 for some kind of cat bus?
And let's see if we can crush that next hour with this.
Well, I actually did have one other option. What about taking a creature or something interesting from the history of Desert Bus and putting it, as a character?
Creepy doll.
Well, that is what I was thinking, but I did not dare to speak it first. In fact, you'll notice I still have said not the name of that which shall not be named.
Well, definitely don't say it 3 times.
I like the chair. Then it'll just look like an empty cockpit.
But with an unusually luxurious chair for some reason.
I feel like before we go too deep into it, maybe cat or bus is the best because it'll scan in the game slightly.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because we can go deep on this. We had a fish god last year or something.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you about was the coin that you were involved with, the design of this year. I did bring up a little earlier the designer of the coin that you commissioned, which was Sam.
Yes.
But maybe you can tell us a little bit about Sam. Or the process of making the coin, if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I can just take a step back, it was a couple of years ago, I want to say 5 years ago, that I'd first sort of come to Desert Bus with the idea of making a coin, because it was kind of the ultimate dad joke, right? Like DB, loon to balloon, right? And I said, what do you guys think about that? And Desert Bus, as I don't have to tell anybody here, but perhaps the people watching don't know, is an unbelievably large amount of work put in by unpaid people doing it strictly for the love of what they're doing, not just over the course of Desert Bus, but over the course of the entire year. So anytime you add something or change something or increase the complexity of Desert Bus, that impacts a lot of people. So it took 1 or 2 years of just sort of talking to get the idea sort of sorted. And I think the first run was now 4 years ago. Does that sound right?
For the coin?
For the coin,
yeah, I think it was.
I've got 3 coins on my shelf right now, so I would assume that's right.
Right. So, we've just basically traditionally used people. I think the first one was Michael Lee Lunsford. Hold on a second. Did I just dead name someone? If I did, I'm very apologetic.
Yeah, it's Mose.
Okay. Yes. My apologies. I'm so sorry. I was thinking in historical mode. That is completely my bad. My sincere apologies. Alex has helped. Alex Stacey has helped. as well. And this year's coin had a little bit more detail. And so instead of the 1.75 inch coin diameter, now it's a 2-inch coin, which doesn't sound like much, but I think it's like a third larger surface area. Somebody can do the math. It's pretty much like 30-something%. So Sam and I just sat and put turn after turn after turn of this coin, working remotely. He's based in Spain. Actually, he's based in Menorca, which is a kind of terrible place, right? Middle of the Mediterranean on a tiny little island, getting beautiful weather all the time.
Yeah,
it's rough. I know. He's always sending me photos of, today we went to the beach, and I'm like,
today I'm surrounded by fog and rain.
Bus and buster. So it's exactly today. Here's my weather today. So anyway, Sam is the graphic artist, but we work together on the composition. The flip side, sort of of the coin, is kind of a take on the Desert Bus logo that we do every year. Traditionally, it's been just kind of a recut of the actual logo, but this year we kind of did a night theme. Like the whole coin is kind of a night theme, like driving at night. There's stars on the date side of the coin, that sort of thing. I don't think you guys have coins in hand, physical coins, and I haven't seen them either, but they came out really, really well. One thing I wanted to, as long as we're talking about the artist, Sam has a graphic novel right now that I believe is currently the #1 free science fiction teen graphic novel on Amazon. I could be wrong, but that is my understanding. And I think you guys had posted a link, but
I'm posting it right now in the chat.
Yeah, it's right now he's made it available for free, and he also, for the Desert Bus community, added a few downloads, like the sketchbook and things like that. That went along with it. It's been in Spanish for a number of years, but it just got translated to English, and it's in my completely biased opinion, it's absolutely phenomenal. So if you go to that page, I think it's samgc.me/bus. You'll see a little page there that lets you download it for free, and it's wonderful. It's great. And Sam's a really, really talented artist. We've worked together for a number of years now. He did some actually Megacynics guest comics back in the day, and we are working together on a very top secret project that is coming along really well. I'm really impressed with this work.
So we did link to Sam's site earlier, and we took it down, and I'm afraid I just did that again.
Oh no! We sent so many people, we crashed it.
But yeah, Amitov has posted the Amazon link directly there if you want to go grab it. But yeah, also please do go to Sam's site when it's not under massive amounts of load.
Oh man, it's been a while since we bus hugged a website to death.
Yeah.
You could just go, as Ashton says, you could just go to the Amazon link. If you put the plain text name of the book, it's Eidolon, I believe, Eidolon. You could just throw that, and you can go on to Amazon and search for it. And if you crash Amazon servers, then this is a bigger ongoing concern than I thought.
Yeah.
The old unintentional DDoS attack is always
DBDOS. Yeah,
I was gonna say Desert Bus. We should workshop the name DBDOS. Yeah,
maybe we don't workshop.
We just don't do it.
Conversation ever happened on a live recorded broadcast.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I'm not saying we use this power for evil or anything. I just we should have a name for the phenomenon when it happens.
We accidentally do it because it won't be the last time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dear to my heart on Steam is it's very, very narrative heavy, and it's not exactly for kids, called Adios, by a friend of mine named Garrick Burford, who goes by Doc Squiddy and other handles. If you go to Steam and type in Adios, these are all games like Whisker Squadron, Adios. These are all games that are, kind of the $20 level. And what I love about games like this is, rather than trying to be everything to everybody, they just say, here's the thing that we want to do, right? Like Whisker Squadron. It's Star Fox but cats and procedurally generated, right? And Adios is, okay, I want to tell this very specific story, and I want to tell it through the interaction of two characters. As I said, this is not a game that I've played with my kids because the narrative is a little bit deep for them, but it's okay. It's a pig farmer a rural pig farmer who's been disposing of bodies for the mob. For some, I can't do this anymore. This is not right. And through the course of the game, you realize, how did he come to be doing something so terrible? Like, what are the choices in life that got him there? And, you know, what are the people that were around him in his life that influenced those decisions? And why is he finding the courage now to say stop when, you know, saying no to the mob in pretty much anything is a really bad idea, right? So, and then, okay, so he said no. How does that play out? And it's really wonderful. Like it's like a novella cut as a video game where you really, really connect with the characters. And to this day, it has one of the most interesting storytelling dynamics that I have ever seen in a video game. And I'm going to try to not spoil it, but there's a few times when you're on the phone with somebody, and you know how in games there are dialogue options that you can choose, like A, B, and C when you're on the phone. There are dialogue options that are shown that you can't pick.
I'm going for bus stop. Break. Is it C to open the door?
Yeah, C. You're a little further. There you go.
This is my first ever bus stop. I've literally never. I've never
Yeah. Good job, Serge.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Steve. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Are you kidding? We're here to drive the bus. That's important. I think last year I got a point, or last time I drove the bus, and I was very confused. I'm like, what's going on? You're getting a point. You're getting a point.
It's like the screen changed to something.
Yeah.
It never changes.
Things are.
Well, there was that moment, like,
Did
did I break it?
Yeah, the problem with getting the point, the person driving panics and doesn't push the button to keep going, and then the thing will just reset. But
well, fortunately, everyone here said, push the button, push the button, push the button. So I did. Yeah. Well, congratulations. Nice. Stop. I mean, how long was it in Desert Bus that you guys weren't even really taking the stops? Like, you weren't doing the stops, as I recall.
It took a while before we got the confidence in playing the game. that we were like, okay, we can probably start getting the stops.
But I love that there's nobody at the stop. I mean, that's the best part. It's like,
It's a vanity thing. It's a vanity thing.
Yeah.
But you were talking about choices in video games. I'm so sorry to derail us here.
Oh, no. Listen, I don't want to spoil the game. It just has some really amazing storytelling mechanics, and it really was just made by a guy who had a story to tell, like a really, really creative, good, wonderful writer, wonderful narrative designer. I mean, he had help add something to a wish list, or, you know, again, help out a really cool indie game designer. It's called Adios, and it's on Steam right now. You can pick it up, and you will not be disappointed. If you are disappointed, I will personally refund your money. How about that?
Oh, dang.
There you go. Steve Dengler guarantee.
I did wanted to mention that one of the developers of Whisker Squadron was in the chat, at least briefly.
Aaron?
Aaron
Sanfilippo is my guess.
Thanking for the shout out.
Great guy.
Awesome.
Very creative, yeah.
I love finding these little like indie gems that are made by one person, and they do like a great job with the sound and the visual design and the storyline, everything. I think Stardew's like that, right?
Yeah.
Stardew's one person. Yeah.
Right.
Or I think it has this massive success.
I think maybe the developer has like somebody to do like sound for him or something now. But
right.
Stardew is this amazing. I mean, it shows, you know, there's the budgets. You know, they always talk about like the budgets for AAA games are, you know, so large now, and you know, we're Ubisoft or all these companies have these ginormous teams and things, but the tools to make a video game have never been more accessible to more people. So you can make all sorts of wonderful games.
Oh, you're so right. My son took a Unity course, and he's just learning the basics of it, you know, an online course during the pandemic, and he was loving it. And he made like a little game, and it was just a donut moving around, and then he gave the donut a gun, and he called the game Donut with a Gun. And I'm like, I know nothing about this game, but I would buy this game. Like, I don't know anything about the game, but I would totally buy it. So
my dream is coming true.
I find, okay, so as a parent, going back to that, my ability to game for long contiguous periods of time is basically zero, right? So yes, I mean, it's nice to have a game that runs for 300 game hours, but sometimes you want a game that runs for 10 or 20 hours that you can start and play and finish in a reasonable period of time that a parent or somebody who's busy might have the ability to finish, right? And so Adios, for example, is a great, like, you can play it start to finish, and it's full of wonderful moments, but it's not something that you're committed to for 300 hours, right, to actually get to the end of the game. And it's great. I'm not taking anything away from the AAA studios bringing like amazing games to the table. I haven't played, for example, Psychonauts 2 yet, and I'm just super pumped about that. Especially given that I helped out the first one come to the Mac, and Tim's just such a fun and creative person. But you take someone with that level of creativity, but they've got more modest means, and they can make a game. I feel sorry for the indie studios because number one problem they typically have is discovery. You get the AAA studios, they spend however many millions on a game, then they spend however many millions on promoting the game. If you're an indie developer, you might be able to get the game out there, but then how do you get discovery? How do you get people to find the game? It's word of mouth, just like we're saying now.
I mean, this would probably be actually a good chance to shout out the Desert Bus Game Jam that's actually happening right now. There's a bunch of folks are making games during the desert using, I believe they got the prompt from one of the ships at some point of long haul is their prompt. And so they're in our Discord, and they've been doing all sorts of interesting things.
That's a good prompt. You want something that's just vague enough that I can get everybody's creative juices flowing in different directions, so that you end up with different results. That's a very good one. I like it.
Just seeing if my video is still frozen on Chrome, so I'll just stay on the super laggy version. I have a version of Desert Bus that just everyone else is watching. I don't know how many seconds behind it is, but it's not live, so I have the sound turned off on that. So everything that's happening, if I make a hand gesture like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's like 8 seconds behind. So
that's not bad, actually, considering
modern technology, man.
I appreciate that your view went from gorgeous to fog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
I went from Vancouver to more Vancouver.
You can't see anything now.
Yeah.
A peak Vancouver.
Yeah.
We gave you the
last night I was looking at the lights across the bay, and it was just beautiful, and I thought it's not going to be like this tomorrow.
Yeah. The render distance has really cut down lately.
We tried.
Well, we're having frame rate problems.
Let's increase your block distance.
So, catch me up on what's going on with you guys. Seriously, it's been, this whole pandemic has just had us locked in, sheltering in place and seeing the outside world through screens, I guess, like I'm seeing now. But, the connectivity, like the personal connectivity, has dropped off as well.
It's true. I mean, for the last 2 years, it's been very interesting doing this event. I'll say that. We've certainly, I think, stepped up to the challenge, but it hasn't been without its issues. I'm trying to remember, when was the last time you were at a physical in the meat space Desert Bus? It's been a few years now, I think, right?
Yeah, it's either 2 or 3. Yeah.
What was the last venue you remember visiting us at?
It was kind of upstairs. You had to walk up some stairs, and then it was sort of an old kind of office that I don't think was being used, and it was, but it was quite large. I think that was the last time I was there. I think that might have been 2019.
Yeah, the last space.
Yeah.
So fair, not
that long
the
ago.
last in-person years. That's not bad.
Yeah, I think it might have been the last in-person year. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite appearances I remember of you specifically is when you showed up wearing that absolutely stunning custom N7 jacket. That would have been Desert Bus 7 or something. But I was just like, I think that's when I met you as well. And I was just like, what is going on? What is that jacket?
So God Save the Queen Fashions, run by a friend of mine named Kathy Jones, good friend of Harrison Cricks of Volpin Props, right? And they're kind of like he's sometimes they'll make costumes and she'll do the costume, he'll do the props. Actually, that happened for a couple of sort of stuff that I commissioned from them. But yeah, she made this N7 jacket from the game, like out of premium leather, hand stitched, everything. Mir and Jen Hale, who's now actually in this part of the world in British Columbia. And in fact, I was talking with her about maybe doing the appearance from her studio that she's affiliated with. So, but it didn't work out. I thought that might kind of be fun, but I believe Mark Mir wrote in the jacket, "I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite jacket on the Citadel."
Oh, wow.
So.
Nice. Jen Hale actually did call in one year. That was awesome. A nice surprise. Jen's great.
She really is. And actually, she ended up getting a jacket. So we Kathy and I got a jacket for her. I think she made it, and I think I might have sponsored it.
I think you auctioned off one or two of those the year that you came wearing those.
Yes, and in retrospect, it was a really bad idea because Kathy was really slammed with work that year, and it was really tough because she's kind of she's got a wonderful name in the prop world, but she has a full docket at any moment, right? And just inserting things into that really made her life difficult. I don't know if she's listening, but if you are, Kathy, I apologize. I don't think she felt she could say no to the idea, and then I think it caused her some grief. In the end,
I think we cloned it. I think that's why it was so much more work. We took the top 2 donors.
Do we have 2 people
I'm
who
so
are fighting
sorry,
for
Kathy.
it?
Yeah, and we did both of them.
Happened, and I think that
sorry,
I think I phoned up Kathy and I said, "Can we do 2?" And I don't think she felt she could say, "Get soaked," and so she didn't. and so I think I caused her some grief that year, but I think it's all good. Yeah. By the way, if you're into cosplay, God Save the Queen Fashions, Kathy Jones, unreal, absolutely unreal. And I think actually one of the last times that I was on, I think I had Harrison of Volpin Props come out, and he made those portal guns and gravity guns that we used to go for the big bucks.
He's made a number of props for us over the years. It's
amazing. Great. But now he does trophies for all the esports tournaments. Yeah, like if you follow his feed, it's unreal what he does.
He's grown to see, because I remember when he came out, that was so long ago. It's like just close to a decade ago now, and just to see how his business has grown over the years is just unreal. Constantly adding new people, bigger spaces, bigger clients, and as you say, every time I open up Instagram, it's just like, here are trophies for Dota and for League and for everything. Basically, he's just the go-to trophy guy.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I'm done.
Matt, were you
sorry. There's a little bit of a delay. Sorry. Okay. One of the cool things about being involved with something like this for as long as we have, 10 years isn't the full ride like you guys have, but is that you meet people when they're sort of up and coming and kind of cool and just getting started. And then 10 years later, I remember when he was just making his first props. Was where we are now. We're getting old, I guess is what I'm saying.
But yeah, Volpin Prop, if you want to see some great props, Volpin Props, and if you want to see some great articles of clothing, God Save the Queen Fashions. I don't know if they're accepting commissions, but they are very busy. I can tell you that much.
I'm not sure Harrison is doing. I'm not. I shouldn't say that for sure, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not anymore. But yeah, if you want to, you should probably contact them if you want to find out for sure.
But just to follow their streams and to see what they're working on, it's awesome. And Harrison will always tease here's the inside of an upcoming prop, or here's a detail for an upcoming prop. It's covered by an NDA, but maybe you can sort of see what's coming. It's actually it's pretty interesting. It's a great guy.
I love that making trophies for esports titles is a full-time production now.
Yeah. I know
they do such a good job on them.
Playing esports is a full-time, right? 15 years ago, you're getting yelled at for playing video games and not, doing the work or homework that you're supposed to be doing. You're like, what are you going to do? Grow up and be, some sort of professional video game player? Har, har, har. Fast forward 15 years. Yes, in fact, I am going to do that.
correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe with League of Legends started it, you could get international travel visas as an athlete, as an esports competitor now.
Well, right,
you sure can. It's
How
kind of
cool is
wild.
that?
I also love scrolling through, because now, of course, I started scrolling through Harrison's Instagram, just casually seeing like Lil Nas X holding one of his LCS Champions League championships.
Right.
One of the biggest musical artists holding the trophy for one of the biggest esports events, and then all these Valorant trophies, and it's wild. How does a Nerf trophy? There's apparently a Nerf World Championship trophy that Volpin did.
Yep.
Wild.
Well, you guys probably remember the Child's Play charity dinners we used to go to, right? And he'd donate, one of the big ticket items, and we had him out a couple of times, and like he came up, and I used to have a table at those things before my parental duties were more substantial. And yeah, I mean, he was still working a day job back in those days, right? Making props kind of as a labor of love. And now, as you say, he's like one of the biggest names out there.
Yeah.
Also, apologies for DBDOSing both of those websites.
Oh, do we take that down too?
They're not down.
See?
They're just a little slower.
We needed the name DBDOS. Yeah.
Just a little chunky.
Yeah,
still be fine.
They'll still load. They'll still load. Well worth the wait.
I don't even know if they know him. Like at least I told Garrick and Sam and Aaron that I was gonna do some shout outs if possible, right? But I didn't mention to Kathy or Harrison that I was gonna or that their names were gonna come up. So hopefully they're good panicking, not bad.
Why is there so much traffic?
It's Sunday morning.
Yeah, we call this the Dengler spike.
Hey bud, long time no chat. We broke your website. Bye.
Oh man.
True story. In my house, I have a literal case that I made built into the wall for the stuff that I bought from Harrison over the years.
That's awesome.
That just sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It's the Crix Cave.
It's not so much a cave; it's kind of out in the open. So, I mean, the real win in that situation is having a wife who is open to the idea of a basically nerd trophy case in plain view of everywhere in the house. So, as cool as that trophy case is, I think the wife that looks at that and says, "Yeah, that's actually a great idea. You should do that."
I do love the idea of like, we're having a dinner party. Get the good nerd stuff out. You're like, okay, very good.
Just the white gloves to transfer them out.
Yeah. You take them from the nerd vault to the nerd display shelf, and you put it back to safekeeping afterwards. Right?
I might be able to. I don't know, but I might be able to. I might have a picture. I don't want to scroll too long while I'm on the stream.
So it's when your visitors can be like, this is clearly a man of distinction.
Jordan.
Yes.
I had a question for you. For this vote we've got up, do you have a timer on it? When does this come to a conclusion?
Oh yeah, we got to be getting close.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
10
minutes.
I think we've got a few things here that we should probably do because we're rolling into the top of this hour, and we have an auction coming up at 10 o'clock. I'm given to understand. But
It also looks like we need
time. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it also looks like we need to do a little restart of the stream before that auction. So
yes.
so folks know.
Cool. So for the last few minutes here, I am given to understand that we have some silent auctions that are coming to an end. So I think we should probably do a review of those just to remind people of what there is. They've got about 10 minutes left. And then we come back. That seems like that would be a great time to find out the results of our poll. And then we will probably have to bid you farewell, Steve, but thank you for joining us. And then we'll do our reboot and move into the auction. So hang with us for a minute as we review the silent auctions, and then we will come back and we can do the honors for your poll, and then we can proceed from there.
Sounds great.
And I don't know if engineering is able to pull up the silent auctions, or if we'll have to
They
just
can,
or if they're
but
busy.
They needed a
there we go.
bit of time.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Yes. Alrighty, so for the silent auctions, once again, you've got 10 minutes left. So if you're one of the snipers, now would be a good time to get your sniper rifles to the ready. The Celeste cross stitch set that you can see here is currently got a high bid of $1,024, and these could be yours.
A bid which
is
going up
at 1,200.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. It's going up.
What up $200 while you're talking?
The
well, you say that, and there's we basically have another live auction happening.
Whoever,
Very nice.
the person who has the high bid when we switch to talk about the silent auctions is always like, "Shut
You're
up!"
like, come on, I had this. Nice.
So there you go. Nice.
Nice.
I like that we've now just reverted to just watching this ascend in real
Even
time.
though we swapped things, the other one just went up again twice.
Amazing.
Good job,
All right,
everybody.
our second silent auction that we have for the next 10 minutes, of course, is the charm bracelet. We're back to the Celeste cross stitch, but there we go. The charm bracelet. This, of course, is made of leather and features 22 charms inspired by Desert Bus throughout the years. This again ends in now 9 minutes time, donated by Digital Seahorse, and it could be yours if you get your sniper rifle ready.
And if you are one of the winners, please remember to go into your Desert Bus donor account and make sure your shipping address is still correct. A lot happens over a year that could cause your shipping address to change. Please double check that that is still valid for you.
Indeed. And we have the results of the poll.
Ooh,
and,
awesome.
Curious. I'm really curious.
I can safely say that I'm a prophet just by looking at chat from the initial bit, because a cat doubled the choice for bus with $190.38. I can't do math, so we got several votes for cat and then 95 for bus. So it looks like cat is the correct thing that we want to go forward with, as that quick informal poll still raised almost $300 for charity.
Yeah,
and I love it. So
thanks, everybody.
Cat for you, Steve. Cat is the winner.
So here's a question, because I think the character artist can probably put some sketches together pretty quickly. I mean, I can't make any guarantees or anything, but if we get something together in the next couple of days, should I send it over to you guys as an update on
absolutely.
the DB character?
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
If they're willing to share it, we're willing to show it.
All right, very cool.
Look, we have time to fill, Steve.
We still have 100 hours.
Yeah. I mean,
So how are you tracking versus last year?
I don't know, actually.
Honestly, I haven't looked, but I'm assuming we're higher.
I can tell you right now, we're actually tracking a little lower than last year, but we do have a live auction and a couple good spicy giveaways coming up here. But we've also, compared to previous years, normally within the first 6 hours of the run, we get a pretty sizable drop from Fangamer for all the shirts we've sold. They haven't, because we started at 6 p.m. on Friday, we haven't actually been streaming during business hours. So I think if we had gotten that like normal, we'd actually be tracking quite a bit ahead of last year at this point. So we're pretty good.
We're also out of phase from last year. So like in previous, the daytime shifts tend to get more, they have more viewers and they tend to get more donations. And so, we're sort of out of phase with them in compared, like when you talk about like what hour of the run we're in versus how much money we've got. So I think we're pretty much on track for where we were last year, I think.
Which was a record-setting year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I'll take the same as last year.
How do you guys been? Surely you must track your development into country X or country Y. Like, how's that been? I mean, if I can ask these questions, how have you been doing with your growing your global presence? Because I personally know people that watch you guys in multiple countries, in multiple different continents, that found you independently of anything that I ever said to them.
I have some details about geographic locations just from people who visit the website, but that's all we can really track is website visits, not unless Twitch has stats on this.
Twitch
I don't actually know.
Yeah,
Twitch will in the dashboard? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can bring that up. Let me have a look. We haven't looked at it extensively. Is basically what we're saying.
Honestly, yeah, we don't do a great job of promoting ourselves. We have succeeded despite ourselves, I think, is the best way to describe this, and we just keep falling into success year after year.
We're getting better at it, though. We have, of course, engaged a comms team over the last several years who have done a fabulous job of helping to get the Desert Bus name out and promote us on various, working with content creators online and interacting with news media and things like that to help sort of people understand what it is we're doing here and what our mission is and how they can participate. And we continue to build on that every year, and I think it's I think it's working. It shows good returns every year, and the comms volunteers have done a fantastic job this year, as they always do.
As a former comms director, I can speak to that point a little bit. In that, we slowly have been working at trying to expand, and Andrew would absolutely be happy to talk more about this. But it's definitely interesting where we've really tried to do it in the last 2 years, and the last 2 years have been very not normal, obviously. And we touched on this, or Steve, you actually touched on this a little bit earlier in the call, which is Desert Bus is run by volunteers who all have
100%.
full-time jobs and external and relationships and external other factors, whether it's creative or otherwise, that runs into life. And it's very hard to also carve out the time to promote something else as a volunteer thing. And that's why we're really thankful for our community. And as Matt said, all of our call-ins and guests that drop by that do a great job promoting. A great example is a major Magic influencer dropped a fantastic video just before the run started explaining what we are. We really rely on that kind of word of mouth because it's the best kind of support that we get.
And so much of great comms and growing a brand is just being there when the opportunities come along and being able to devote some resources to taking them, right? I mean, you can go and pound the pavement trying to drum up, profile for Desert Bus, but then someone will, like a streamer will, hey, you know what? Can I mention Desert Bus or something? And just being there and ready with, the information they need and responsive. That's what I found growing, my business over the years is you can do a lot of outbound, but when that inbound opportunity hits, the best thing you can be is ready just to give that the attention that it needs.
The amazing thing with Desert Bus that has always totally blown my mind is the ratio of viewers to supporters to the people like something like say HDQ or some of the Games Done Quick charity marathons, which are also amazing and very successful, will their end result might be raising more money, but they'll have like 10 times the viewership that we do. Like the ratio of people watching to and who have actually donated, like when we do the draw at the end of the show for everybody who has donated at least $5 to the thing, the number of different people who have donated is always so incredible that just the
absolutely
like normally when you're have something like this, it's like if say 1% of your people watching are actually engaged,
what our funnel is,
put money into it, then that's amazing. And the result for Desert Bus is a ridiculously high number.
If I may, with only a couple minutes left, Steve, is there any last things that you want to say or promote or sort of shout out?
I mean,
better catch you up.
Really, if I had a single sort of shout out left, it would just be to you guys. And I don't mean just the people on the screen, but to all the people that put in the hard work behind the scenes, all the people that put in the unseen labor, the unseen effort, the unseen hours, and that this just doesn't happen without that. You're talking a minute ago that where maybe other people have what they call a funnel. Desert Bus as a family. This is a group of people, most of whom have been engaging, in some way for sometimes years and years and years. as I was saying earlier, I think this is my 10th year, and there have been lots of people who have been, even outside of the LRR team, who have been involved longer than that. And Tabby was on last night, and she was saying that she feels like part of the family. She's part of the family. Like, you're in the Desert Bus family. I mean, I guess it's like the mafia in that sense. Like you're in the family now.
I prefer cult, but sure.
Sure. Absolutely.
You can never leave.
Well, it's just this mountain of volunteer, like unpaid, often unseen effort going in just to make a screen full of talking heads raise money for charity. But that's where the magic is. The magic is off screen more than on screen. I mean, just look at the chat going wild right now. That's Desert Bus, that engagement with what we're doing, that feeling like you're a part of it, that the handcrafted stuff that gets sent in and then gets auctioned off for thousands of dollars. Like, it's amazing to me. It's been amazing to see it as a third party grow in the last 10 years into something that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's not even just the volunteers that work here every year. I think James mentioned earlier we're at like 50 something volunteers. It's not just the volunteers from this year, it's the volunteers from every year. It's the moderators that make it so we can focus on other things and not have to worry about moderating chat. The crafters who make prizes that we can auction off. They're like 40 to 60 VST members every year who make it so anybody who missed anything on stream can go and watch it. Like the countless hours of stats and logs that people are doing. I don't even know if we could total up all of the hours that are spent not just during the stream but outside of the stream. It's a massive amount of labor.
And this is maybe a good way for me to wind down here. My original thesis for that Desert Bus coin was to have like a little token you could hold in your hand at the end of the year and say, yes, that's it's a small piece of metal, a little circular piece of metal, but that's kind of like my badge. That's like my achievement unlocked physical token for my involvement in Desert Bus, that everyone who contributed, right, should end up with one of those at the end of the run. I've got mine on my shelf, and I look at them, and I'm you get that little warm, fuzzy feeling inside, and maybe it's just a small piece of metal, but it's something. It's like a medal, right? It looks like something you got for your participation, like a participation medal. Maybe they shouldn't have been coins. Maybe they should have been medals. Maybe that would have been.
Well, Steve, I think we would like to thank you for your participation. What a segue. What a segue.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today and
My
for
pleasure.
being here with us and being on and being a part of the fun. It is lovely as always to have you, and we truly do appreciate your support and involvement. So thank you for being here. I gather that we have to take the stream down. Like, we are going to have to actually take the stream down completely. So just hang with us. We'll ride that out, and we'll bring the stream down. And when we come back, we will be rolling into our first and only, I think, for Dawn Guard,
Yes.
live auction.
Yep.